How you doing? What's going on? My name is Omari the Rebel, and this is Tribechat, the long-form podcast about alternative sexuality of Nzuri Kabila or NK swingers from a black perspective. We make you think, we make you laugh, and we make you come. Recording in WTF Media Studios in Soho, New York City. And make sure you catch us every Monday and Saturday on FullSwapRadio.com. Also, shout out to the wife and co-owner of Full Swap Radio, Amanda, as she just celebrated her 50th birthday today. All right. Now, moving forward, my first line of business, I want to give a special shout out to Mimi G, the host of the Night in Debauchery. Mimi G is the owner of Atlanta, Georgia-based Coming Soon Lifestyle Bus. And when I went down there, it was a dope experience. When I first got down there, I was on Peach Street. So once I got over the bus and tried to navigate my way, it's like essentially like any other transit hub. When you get down there, I got off the bus. I took the bus down there. I flew back. I got off the bus, purchased a ticket. They up on us because the MTA was still swiping. But I had to purchase my ticket, and you put your ticket on top of the little mechanism, and it lets you in there. As a matter of fact, I went down there. I got with Pegasus, and Pegasus actually ended up there ahead of me. We got down there, and she met me at the Airbnb. A little bit contrary to what we have going on right about now. So once I got to the Airbnb, Pegasus was actually already there. And it was like, we're in Atlanta, Georgia. It felt like it was like 90 motherfucking degrees outside. And when we got there, we had like the key code. We stayed about 20 minutes or so from the event location. But it was actually dope. I was supposed to go to the liquor store, but we did a whole lot of traveling. So once I got there, the traveling turned into, let me just lay down for a second, right? And I'm gonna let Pegasus expand on this a little bit more in a few minutes. But once I got down there, I took a nap. Once my face hit the motherfucking pillow, it was about it. We were supposed to schedule to wake up at about 10 o'clock. We were supposed to get there at like 10 o'clock. We ended up waking up at like 11:15. So I got up, jumped in the shower. Once I got up and we got all fresh and shit like this, the type of shit they was on? Like Lyft. Something about when I was down there, like the Lyft, it only pulled up the luxury shit. So, you're going to spend some fucking money in Atlanta. So, like, there was none of that economy, nothing. So it's like, don't come around here with your broke ass if you ain't got your own car in Atlanta, Georgia, trying to get from A to B. We had to take the luxury shit everywhere, back to the airport, to the venue and all of that shit. So I took the Lyft to the venue. I met up with a couple of people, and it was a great night. There was a large BDSM theme. It was a real grand, open sexual environment. It was in a dungeon. Mimi G, who's originally from Boston, she was the person headlining the event. She coordinated with a couple of other organizations like Sunshine Aces. Shout out to her from the DMV. My boy Mark King Swing Culture Organization was representing down there. Ben's Lifestyle. Even Beyond the Lifestyles, Max Styles organization. So moving forward, we're going to get back into this for a few, but let me get on to the news. All right. So Habari Gani is the literal Swahili translation for the term beautiful tribe. Keeping with the cultural continuity of our brand, we begin with the Swahili term for what's the news, Habari Gani. All right, now first, according to Gossip and Gasms, all right, Batman, Catwoman, and oral sex scene blocked from series because, quote, heroes don't do that. All right, this is an article according to Ashley Cobb on Gossip and Gasm. You need to check her out. All right, so according to the article, Ashley writes, comic book shows know how to push boundaries, including Harley Quinn, which has more than its fair share of violence, sex, and explicit language. But one proposed scene went a little too far for the DC Entertainment HBO Max animated series. In the third series of Harley Quinn coming to HBO Max, we had a moment where Batman was going down on Catwoman, Justin Halpin said. And DC was like, you can't do that. You absolutely can't do that. They're like, heroes don't do that, continued Halpin. So are you saying heroes are just selfish lovers? They were like, no, it's that we sell consumer toys for heroes, and it's hard to sell a toy if Batman is also going down on someone. And in that moment, Batman is officially the fucking DJ Khaled of superheroes. And another one. Moving forward, Halpin made a comment in the context of noting how much creative freedom he's otherwise enjoyed on the show. Superhero content creators are generally expected to abide by certain rules governing characters' behavior in order to protect the franchise and consumer product sales. That said, Bruce Wayne has seduced and discarded supermodels and Russian ballerinas alike. Disposable props in movie after movie, decade after decade, and that behavior apparently isn't frowned upon. And Harley Quinn is considered a graphic show for adults. So in that context, objectifying, giving women pleasure has struck a nerve, and some fans thought to be a little bit wrong-headed. As a matter of fact, I gotta bring up a few tweets on this subject. The first tweet reads, if Batman doesn't give head, then who the hell ate my pussy at Comic-Con 2018? The next tweet, Red Hood does what Batman can't, has a whole different meaning now. Why would Batman's whole bottom be face open if he didn't do oral? Ridiculous. Another tweet wrote, if DC can't let Batman give Catwoman head, someone's got to do it. Pegasus, we will, before I continue, I wanted to get you to weigh in on Atlanta, Georgia. I was talking about how I pulled up in the Airbnb and you arrived there. So tell us a little bit about your perspective as far as what was Atlanta, Georgia like?
Well, Atlanta, Georgia was hot as hell. I mean, I know it's summer or spring, whatever, but when you come from here and, it's a cool 75 degrees, when you get there and it's a hot ass, close to 90 degrees, it's a different kind of monster. You ain't dressed properly and none of that shit. So I have to say, I was thoroughly pleased with the Airbnb. It was a very clean looking space. As far as, listen, we got there. I think the heat put me the fuck out because we got there. My fat ass got hungry. I was late.
You know what I'm saying? Because I ended up arriving late. And also, niggas was walking to what? Target?
Yeah.
Yo, it was
on the side of this like highway thing. Like
there's not even no fucking sidewalk
at all. Man. No. You got big ass magnolia trees. They're beautiful, however. But push that shit back and let the fucking pedestrians walk. Like, what the fuck? We on the side of a damn highway?
Word.
And crossed over to another damn highway to get some motherfucking chips.
So, about like the event with Night in Debauchery.
Oh. Atlanta's a different kind of monster. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a fucking feast for the eyes, and people there really, typically we do not participate when there's a theme or something. But for this particular event, I have to say, people came through. I seen naked ass devils. I seen witches. I was saying all
there's a big
sort of shit.
Theme. It was a whole bunch.
Yeah, it was.
There's some sensation play. They had this room where homie was laying down on the bed and they just tied like 2 rubber bands around his nipples and he had his hand.
Right. It was a lot of fucking flogging going on.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they covered all bases. It was some lady outside in the back making fucking food. Now, when we here, I typically at a play party don't like to have a lot of heavy food because heavy food, heavy fucking means somebody gonna want to have to shit. And here, Tribe Chat, we like to eat ass. So you don't necessarily want to inspire Dookie.
Right.
You know what I mean? So but at this fucking event, they was frying shit. I think I saw a fucking baked shark or something. I'm lying. I'm exaggerating.
I've seen a lot of voyeurism and stuff. Like they had a few games.
Yes.
So shout out to Sunshine Nation when she had the sex position games. But let me actually get back into the news, and I wanted to say, oh wait. We actually
is killing me.
Have a real-time update from the HBO Max Twitter account about the Catwoman scene that was cut out. They responded.
They said what?
Well, they said, "Fuck you. We're changing her name to Can't Eat the Catwoman and stream Harley Quinn on HBO Max for only $14.99 a month."
Yay. I love it. I love it. First of all, whoever the fuck that was is an angry ass little short queen who is the nephew of some bigwig at that fucking organization because he was allowed.
Since we're speaking of oral sex, listen, I want to give a shout out to Freddie Alanis from Chicago, Illinois. All right. So look, they're talking about naming a day after homie. All right. So this picture started resurfacing from an old story on social media. All right. From almost 3 years ago to this very day, right? So Freddie Alanis ended up in an emergency.
Water, please?
He ended up in an emergency department after performing the sex act on his well-endowed lover, according to the Sun UK.
Wait a minute. Freddie Alanis is a guy?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, so this is a...
Yes, taking to Twitter to relieve his ordeal, Freddie told his followers, "Excuse the bad angle, but remember when I sucked a Hulk-sized dick and ended up in the ER afterwards. LMFAO, never forget."
Never fucking forget. Never forget is crazy and it's so inappropriately used.
Hold on. After responding to the inevitable questions that followed, Freddie said his dick ruptured my airway. Freddie told when what happened, he said it didn't feel too bad. But he added, he said, I felt like it was just a soreness in my chest. Nothing really hurt that bad.
Damn.
Freddie said the doctors told him the injury was rare, happening in about 1 million or 100 million cases. He set the bar. Yo, shout out to my wife, babe. Yeah. After this, I'm not asking you to suck my dick. I need you to breathe.
First of all, you don't got the kind of dick that's gonna rupture airways, so stop your shit. And she ain't got no little short neck either. You've been sucking that dick long enough to accommodate it. I'm sure it's the same.
Since we're on the topic of air, right? All right, so check this out. Jada Pinkett and Will Smith and Gammy do a live veggie steam on Red Table Talk.
Yay.
All right, so Jada Pinkett Smith and her daughter Will Smith have shocked fans with unconventional bonding experiences on the latest episode of their Red Table Talk show. A vaginal steam, excuse me.
Yes.
Yes, the pair were joined by Jada's mom and Adrienne Banfield Norris as they discussed the benefits of the spa treatment.
Right.
Steaming is an ancient practice that originated in Asia and Africa and was originally used to cleanse yourself after you finish menstruating. Jada said, "I've read somewhere that the vaginal steams are like an aphrodisiac." Wow.
So this little horny fucking badger.
They say that there's a lot of health benefits, but for me, I just feel like it's spending time with your vagina in a way that just to show appreciation and take care of it. During the episode, Jada's longtime healer, Queena Afua, shared...
Oh, yes. So shout out Queena Afua.
Yes. She also shared advice about de-stressing and better sex and asking the host, if your vagina could speak, what would she say? Jada said, if you listen to all these little rap artists talk and abuse the vagina, you sure as hell can watch women give it the honor and praise. In 2018 episode, the host previously revealed that she underwent procedures for vaginal rejuvenation.
Oh, yeah. I'm not doing that. First of all, let me just say, hold up, wait a minute. Before we even talk...
She said, talking about the outside, it looks like a little beautiful peach. You were saying?
I fucking well, I forgot, but I had a few points. With respect to vaginal rejuvenation, I can't even. I'm so happy that I had C-sections with both of my children because I did not want to risk having to have a razor potentially cut me down in my fucking vagina, and just to make it look better. Pussy is ugly. I mean, there are some more beautiful ones than others, but it's not a pretty thing. You don't want to walk around the bitch, your face look like a pussy. You don't want that. That's not a great thing. So it's not, and it does go through a lot.
I want to move to, like, since we on the topic of like moms and daughter bonding experiences, right?
And wait a minute, that's not no shocking shit. That is actually great because Willow is of age where she is actually having sex, and these are practices that mothers and daughters should bond over.
Yeah. So look, all right, now here's something I wanted to get to our final story. See, the mother and daughter have admitted that they're so close that they give each other bikini waxes and even share sex tapes. Now, this is a story according to the Irish Sun. All right, so I actually looked up on this. So Carla McCoy, who's 44 years old, and Rakia Lewis, 24, from Jacksonville, Alabama, do everything together, whether it's cooking, watching movies, twerking. Rakia appears on the new episode of TLC's Smother. She explains, "My mother is the most important person in the world to me. I can learn from her, I can depend on her for anything, and I can appreciate that. I really, really do. We do everything together. I mean, everything. We watch movies together, cook together, twerk together. She's the first person I see when I wake up and the last person I see when I lay down," adds Carla. While the two women love their close relationship, there are some who find their bond a little weird. "I've had people say that we're too close, point blank," Carla says. "I don't see why they think our relationship is so bizarre or weird," adds Rakia. The mom and daughter have absolutely no inhibitions, happily helping each other out with bikini waxes.
That's cool.
Rakia says that, "My mother and I have been waxing each other for quite some time now. I've had a few people say that we're too close." All right, now, perhaps the most unusual aspect of the two's relationship is their candid and open approach to the one's sex lives. "I showed her my first sex tape about 2 years ago," Carla admits. "I showed her my first tape maybe a year ago," Rakia adds, admitting that she wanted to get a second opinion and some advice from her mom. Had one significant other in the past that knew and shared the video with my mom. And he was like, "You guys are sick." But Carla can't see anything wrong with it. She adds, "I'm proud of that. I created her, and just what it comes down to. It makes me feel wonderful to love her." We actually reached out to the black woman, Rakia Lewis, who is also a personal fitness trainer, and she actually follows us on Instagram.
Right.
Yes. You guys need to stay tuned for Tribechat if you guys want to hear more updates on that story, because we reached out to them about getting on the show.
First of all, you, like I said, line crossed over. I mean, I guess everybody's relationship is made out of something different. That's just not something I want to share with my mom. I don't need her to have a visual. Now, granted, some people probably think the way I just share my life in this portion of it with my mom is a bit much for some because she's 82. But at 82 years old, trust and believe you me, they were doing this and then some back then because they didn't even have all of the extras that we got now to keep ourselves entertained.
Yeah, it's Father's Day, man.
Dick and pussy was entertaining to men and women back in the day. Shout out to fathers out there, good dads.
Yeah, that's how I became
Suck a dick today. Suck a dad dick today. I said that. Well, but yeah, I don't want my mom to have, and I certainly don't want a visual of my mother doing the kind of shit I like to do. I like some nasty shit. I don't want to know my mom. I don't want to know ironclad that that's the shit my mom do. It's okay if I just assume some shit. Now, you know what? Sometimes assumptions are safety mechanisms because if you don't have a fact, then, you know, you can assume up or down.
Yo, Dave, you do some crazy shit. There's actually a couple. Well, no, that's not a couple. As a friend of mine, you know, in the lifestyle community, you meet a few people, you do networking. So he has a wife, right? Yeah. This actually isn't too not normal. Now he's into cucking, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, which is not too normal. She's white, not too, you know what I mean, crazy. Now, her daughter also does porn. So I was fucking with her. And we got to the point where he's telling me that his wife and her daughter, like we're all three going to do a sex scene. And he's going to record the shit. It's one of those things that was like, yo, I kept sending them
fucking
DMs.
Machete. Did you ever see that?
No.
I love Quentin Tarantino. Or Lindsay Lohan. Yo, how do you get a crackhead to play a crackhead in a movie? Like as an act.
It was early. I don't believe she was at that time.
No, she was. No. She was actually, yeah, she was strung the fuck out, but they had her in there playing a crackhead. To make this relatable, there was a scene in there where her and her mother had sex with Machete in a pool. Well, they did a lot of things, but yeah, that was a scene. I think for a lot of men, that may be a fetish or like some sort of desire or fantasy somewhere down the line. Maybe not necessarily mother-daughter or they twin sisters or cousins or whatever, just a family member. I think, yeah.
Before. They said twincest. All right.
Twincest.
All right.
Twincest.
Moving forward, we got a few more things.
Fucking words are awesome, man.
There's two more things I want to cover now. Consent versus horse. Now, a few recent developments in the kink community have highlighted the necessity to bring the conversation about consent to the forefront. For example, over the week, a meme was circulating on social media. The general storyline appears to be that a man allegedly sponsored the airline tickets as well as the hotel accommodations for a young lady in hopes that she come fly in for a day or two of her time specifically to be sexually available to him. Here's the conversation. Now, Pegasus and we're going to be playing roles matching the gender of the two hypothetical co-eds, so it'll be a little bit easier to follow. And then I'm going to get a little bit of commentary about the conversation of consent. Hey, you're into the hotel? Let me know. What's going on? I called you 3 times. What the fuck?
I'm sorry. I just checked in at 30 minutes ago. My phone was charging because I died. I'm getting out of the shower now.
Bet. I'm on my way to see you.
Huh?
What do you mean, huh? I'm on my way to hang out with you. Is that an issue?
Hang out in what way?
Tessa, we've been talking for 5.5 months. I flew you out here and got you a hotel. I want to see you, babe. Why you acting brand new?
It's late. I don't want company tonight, is all.
Okay,
I'm tired. It's literally after midnight.
Okay, I'll be over in the morning then. I'll let you sleep. With the exclamation point on that. Emphasis on I'll be over in the morning.
Right. Over in the morning just to hang out as friends, right?
Can we FaceTime?
My phone is still charging.
Why are you acting different? Do you want to hang out? I didn't know we was just friends. I would not have flown you out. I don't fuck my friends. We've been sending nudes and sexting on FaceTime. What am I missing here?
I feel like we're rushing things. I don't want to have sex or anything. Just hang out as friends, if that's okay. You're amazing and a good friend. I don't want to upset you.
Upset me? I'm livid. I paid over $1,000 for you to come out here. I don't do that for friends. You know what? No worries. Since we're friends, I need my $977.56 back.
I don't have that. Why are you acting this way? I just want to take things slow. Please don't be mean.
Taking it slow would mean not flying you out here. You played me. So checkout is at 12 p.m. tomorrow. I'm canceling the other 2 days, and I'm also canceling the flight back. You can figure out on your own.
Wow. So this is how you do people? I don't have money to get home. At least allow me to fly back. I'll check out tomorrow.
Nah, lose my number and have a nice life. A nice life.
I'm sorry. You You blocked me? Please pick up. I don't have funds to get home. Shaking my fucking head.
All right, now there's a reason why I brung that up. You see, we had a conversation about that. Shout out to Mark King from Swing Culture. He actually brought me on his show because we wanted to talk a little bit about that, and I wanted to talk about consent versus coercion, especially in an open sexual environment.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what my problem was. What I got disappointed is that we talk so heavily about consent culture.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there's an event, no means no. We all know that.
Right.
Listen, the responses, everybody is allowed to think how they want to, of course. You know, I know we all speak from our own individual experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And we're allowed to view things how we want to. But when it comes to something like consent, it's one of those things that it's not room for there to be gray areas of interpretation.
It's really not.
It's not. Well, I didn't look at it this way, no. What I'm getting at is when you're trying to tell somebody, yo, look, we want to do this consensually. If there's a retaliation or an implied retaliation, is that consent? Now, you have the right, like in a situation, this is not real. These text messages aren't actually real people. It's just a joke. But listen, the point is this, though. In the hypothetical situation, first of all, the hypothetical guy, he didn't come off as a little needy. Like, okay, I'm coming right tomorrow.
Well, he came off as he came off assured. This is a real... I'll let it build up. To me, he came off assured. Like he knew what the fuck was going on. Like it was discussed already. That's how he came off to me. And you know, like it was like he had a plan in mind and you was with the shits. Like that's how he sounded to me.
One of the things in the group that I wanted to say is, why didn't he ever try the approach? I think one thing is if he would have just started off with, hey, are you okay? I tried to reach you a couple of times and I couldn't get you on the phone. Did you get there safely? You got some time later on? If he would have opened up like that, then what?
You asking me personally? That whole situation more than likely would not have been me. So I can't answer that personally. I can't answer that personally. But if you're asking me
from an objective standpoint of trying to talk like you're talking to the woman. Like I didn't know women
that would have been a segue for him to get some more answers that he wanted. You know, this approach that we got here is fucking awful. You ain't getting shit from me.
I'm coming tomorrow.
Yeah, no. You needy? You sound psycho. You sound fucking psycho. You sound like you got something, you trying to give it to me. I don't want that shit.
All right, so what I was saying is this, though. Look, for real, I mean, there was plenty of situations that we talk about. Like, I mean, hip-hop music, for example, like I was talking about. What does this really mean when Usher says, but once you get inside, you can't change your mind? Okay, it's a song. What that mean? Like, what do you mean? Consent, listen, is revocable. All right. Somebody has the right to change their mind, or somebody has the right to decide that they're not comfortable with it. And what I'm talking about is one thing that came up in my mind is when I'm having events and I'm responsible for cultivating an environment of open sexuality, I'm worried if someone says, yo, look, man, you could do that to this chick, or however you can do this to a woman, because the point is, you weren't trying to encourage her to do something with you. It was like you wanted to corner her. Because if she walks into the situation saying, well, I might have to say yes because I mean, how is that really honoring the principle of consent culture?
Which one are we talking about?
This is what we just happened. If no matter what it is, all right, I'm gonna fuck because he paid the ticket or whatever.
No. Actually, let me just tell you how I understood this. How I understood this is that this was probably supposed to be a portion of a text that was from a lot of texts before, because I can't imagine, this is just my little crazy mind, I can't imagine a motherfucker just coming out of left field going that hard out of left field. I can't imagine that, number one. Number two, I can't imagine a person, if by chance they were like that, I can't imagine she just found this out. So you were okay with, let me just say this, consent, we really need to have black and white. There should be, like you said, no gray areas for consent. But with that being said, as people who could potentially be victims, because it doesn't just necessarily mean woman. It could be anybody, children, gay men, or whatever, with respect to consent. You have a duty to protect yourself. That means not putting yourself in certain situations. Now, just because I said that does not mean that I'm victim shaming. That's not what I'm saying. What is
the situation that you will put yourself in?
A situation that you will put yourself in is, okay, so this is what it is. For me, I know that if I am going to have sex with somebody, we're not going to go to a particular, we're not going to go off the deep end. This is just me. And I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying me, Pegasus. We're not going to go already to tensions is high and we panting. And then I say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. That hasn't been my experience. And I cannot imagine a circumstances for me that would just be some regular shit, because you potentially put yourself, sex is volatile.
All right. What I have to say is this, though, you know what I'm saying? Because we got to move on to our next point. When it comes down to the term, when it comes down to consent, when it comes down to attraction and the mood, yes, this is actually flexible and things like this. But there's no flexibility on no meaning no. You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter, what situation. There will never be a situation where something is a transaction that leads to an assault or a violation of consent. Anytime where there's a violation to consent, there is no position that the victim put themselves in.
No.
Hold on, let me finish. The position that was put in was the person who was the abuser, because we never
have to agree to disagree on that.
Talk about that, because we never have a conversation about the situation where the thing is that when it comes down to it, if the abuser doesn't abuse, there isn't no violation.
You're absolutely right.
So it's a situation. Hold on, let me finish.
All abuse is not by an abuser. Sometimes a situation can just turn into an abuse.
Let me finish. But what I'm saying is this, though. Like, now, there's a situation where it's like, yo, look, we know that. I guess I'm not making quote unquote decisions. I mean, I understand in reality that certain things are going to happen right about now. But the point is, it's not supposed to be that way. And for me to say, well, yeah, that is what it is when it happens, basically, when it comes down to it, the bottom line is, this is the status quo. The status quo is that women or people are vulnerable in sexual assault.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to contribute to that status quo by saying, well, yeah, it is what it is, so don't do that.
No.
I need to check the person I'm either going to contribute to that, or I'm going to be actively trying to stop that.
Well, I mean, you can look at that as black and white, but it's not for me, because just like your parent will tell you,
when somebody gets sexually assaulted,
excuse me, I'm speaking now. Just like your parent will tell you, you put yourself in a certain situation, certain things happen. Just like going with a certain friend that she told you not to hang out with. If that motherfucker's a bully and you weren't with him, then he's bullying somebody else. So if you wind up, wait a minute, I didn't say they deserve anything. I'm not alleging that either. I'm not alluding to that. What I am saying, simply and plainly, in plain English, I don't mean I'm meant to say. I'm saying it. What I'm saying is that sometimes you have a duty. The first rule of nature is self-preservation. So, excuse me, at no point am I saying that a victim is responsible for what an assailant does. That is not what I'm saying. Please, I don't want anybody.
Where do they relate to each other?
Where do they? Because everybody has a responsibility. Just like I said, the first rule of nature is self-preservation. Self-preservation means you protect yourself.
So the connection between somebody getting assaulted and everyone has a responsibility.
Because all assault is not this. Assault. Yeah. What you mean?
You're talking about. Everybody has a responsibility
to protect
somebody
themselves.
Violating consent. Tell me where you're meeting the 2 points. So
violation of consent. This is what I'm saying. If the dick is already in the fucking pussy, if it's already there, I'm not saying that under no circumstances should a woman say, oh no, that's over. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that for me to put myself in that situation would be me not being responsible for myself. And that is how I see it. I don't then, if I want them to stop and then they continue to do what they're doing, it's still an assault. It's a fucking rape. You need to be handled according to the law. But had I been certain about what I wanted to do with my sexuality, this particular situation wouldn't have happened. I'm not saying that this motherfucker who is an assailant, what do we call a rapist, would not have done something else. I'm saying that particular situation, the hypothetical one that we just made up about the dick being in the pussy, had I decided and stuck to my decision, been sure about my decision, then I would not have been in that situation.
This is the gray area of consent where
that's not gray.
People taking this
that's not gray.
Well, it didn't.
That's not great. Like I said, I just told you, I'm clear and concise about that. If you victimize somebody, you need to be handled to the fullest extent of the law. I said that loud and clear. At the same token,
right, it is.
That would be good enough for you, but this is my speech. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is that we also harbor some responsibility to protect ourselves.
When it comes to
just
sexual
like
assault?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't, guess what? Everybody ran around here when Michael was still alive. He ran around here talking about he was a pedophile. We loved Michael Jackson. But guess what? You ain't touching my kid because my kid can't spend the night at Michael Jackson's house, whether he's a fucking pedophile or not. You understand what I'm saying? So my child ain't getting touched by Michael Jackson. This is my responsibility.
All right. Before we move on, I want to say that there are a lot of people who actually do think like that. And unfortunately, a lot of people who actually do agree with you, that leads to other people. That's not unfortunate. No, a lot of people do agree with you. And that actually gives them the space to actually interpret consent the way they want to, which leads to more.
That's your interpretation of it. I was very, very clear about what I said. So for somebody else to, for somebody else to take it, for someone else to take it in their own spirit and understand it, lean to their own understanding about words, because words have fucking meanings. So when you put them together, they form sentences. Sentences have it absolutely does. Sentences have meanings. So when I say what I say, it has a definition. So if you choose, or anybody else choose, to take it upon themselves and attribute an emotion or what they think I meant to what I said, that's on them. Has nothing to do with what I said.
It may be like a definition, because when you try to be like, well, like it's up interpretation, certain things, it leaves me from the responsibility from being right and wrong. From like, there is a.
I said it was wrong. Definition. How did you miss all of that? I keep saying.
No, I'm talking about in a general context.
That's the general context for me.
Well, hold on. In general context, when I go at making everything so vague that it's like, well, you know what? To tell you the truth, it's how you look at it. And then, you know what? That'll obscure the lines where certain things, like even like, social justice issues would be like, all right, well, it's how you look at it, whether or not people should be able to have consent, or how you look at it and stuff like that. All right.
Well, there's radicals in every part of life. And as people are always going to push the envelope, no matter how, you give a motherfucker an inch, they're going to take a yard. And that's with everything. So tomato. This is the same. This ain't no different than any other thing in life.
Over the weekend, it got messy on social media, and a space occupied by the kink community, primarily thanks to me. So, as many are aware, now on Full Swap Radio, alongside my many fellow podcasters in the kink community, one being named Venus. Full Swap Radio is where you can catch us on Saturdays and Mondays. You can actually catch the episode early if you listen to Full Swap Radio. Now, her platform is a podcast dedicated to the cuckolding portion of the alternative fetish lifestyle. It's just actually dedicated to couples where the male partner is aroused by watching his partner perform sex acts on other men while
that takes a brave man.
Now, what the concern is, Venus describes herself as a self-proclaimed queen of spades. Of course, the tasteless terminology used to describe black men, which was once used as an anti-black term of degradation. So what happened is, I tagged a few of my fellow podcasters and content creators and they all joined the general consensus of how inappropriate it seemed for someone outside of the black community to apparently openly just fetishize black men and reduce our identity to someone else's personal kink. Like a few people, shout out to Black and Kinky, Duchess Cashmere, Monogamish, and our friends The Sweet Life all joined in on the conversation. And I wanted to start with how we actually got to the conversation, because like I was saying, Full Swap Radio, what we do is there's an abundance of podcasts dedicated to the community. So we see, oh, look, shout out to this radio station, this podcast, right? So Venus Cuckoldress is also in a station with us, right? So I went through her timeline, right? And this is what we heard.
On this episode of the Venus Cuckoldress podcast. If you love interracial cuckolding or you're curious about it, this is for you. Today, we are going deeper into how she gets hooked.
You know, after that, I only look for Black men because there's something, I don't know if it's our chemistry, it's the makeup of our chemistry, but I'm so attracted to strong, fit Black men.
Fucking them and realizing what I was missing before that was pretty mind-blowing. And it wasn't long after that I ended up getting my first Queen of Spades tattoo.
I met this bull and, oh, Venus. He just, holy shit. He rocked my...
I wanted to continue a little bit because there is a preview right now for an episode on her podcast, Venus Cuckold podcast. So what I'm going to do is, as a matter of fact, she goes into detail about the BBC Queen of Spades fetish. And she even brings on a few of her friends, I guess, to weigh in on why they got so hooked into black dick. So there's one particular sentence that I wanted to weigh in on because she actually put this perfectly.
That's how they fuck you. That's the best way I can put it. Anyway, I feel like after a while, my mind changed. Like literally, the things I got turned on with before was different. So now I'm like, if I see dick pics of black guys, I'm immediately just like, oh, there's this involuntary kind of reaction where I'm just like, oh, fuck. Like, that's so hot. If I see dick pics of white guys, I'm just like, no, not doing anything for me.
So, like, there's a few guests, and they talk about the phenomenon in which, like she said before, what she was missing. Now, before I even continue, what do you think so far about what she was missing and the idea of being hooked to the interracial cucking?
I think that's something that she found, and that is the thing. That is the thing that she identified with being so magical. Now, I pretty much, I mean, we going to talk about it, but I pretty much know where your position is on
I'll let
that.
you know what my position is.
Yeah, no. I'm only saying that because, you know, the people may not necessarily know. I'm letting them know that I know, you know. I feel like we run around and talk about how magical we are and how magnetic and how melanin is so exuberant, and it is just this stuff of myth, you know, in the living flesh. For them to be mesmerized by that shit and not know the inner workings of it and just go, okay, well, I just like it because it's black. I don't necessarily see the issue. It's not an issue for me.
Okay, let me say this.
The term is an issue, but them liking, ain't.
Okay, listen. First of all, I have a couple of things to say. Black and Kinky, Duchess Cashmere, Monogamish, and the Sweet Life podcast. They all, first of all, they all weighed in, and it turned into a big conversation on Twitter where there was even somebody else, some white guy joined in on the conversation, right? Now, what I did is, in a tweet, what I said is, what do y'all think? How do you guys feel about black people being talked about this way, so open in the kink community? Now, Monogamish said, well, actually, she asked the guy, are you black? If you aren't, this isn't a conversation for you. The white guy says, I think it's beautiful. and love when people know what they want, especially women. I don't get how you can see women that love and appreciate black men and not see a beauty to even if it's not for you. That's just me, though. This is a white guy always coming in the middle of shit like this. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's what some black people actually said. People that actually are affected by that, whose parents and grandparents were actually called that, who actually have to deal with the lack of representation and stuff like that. The actual black people said, I'm from the South. This is Duchess Cashmere. I'm from the South, and there's a lot of implied subtle or subliminal racism. So them putting it in the forefront of the conversation helps me put my boundary where it needs to be. I retweeted that. Our friend Sweet Life, who were on our IG Live, said, wow, yeah, black men are dope, but to be fetishized and so shamelessly is a little jarring to hear, cringeworthy to say at least. You know what I'm saying? And Bomber and Bell, Black and Kinky podcast, shout out to them, also on Full Swap Radio. This sounds like a BBC infomercial. I was waiting for someone to say, order yours today. Queen of Spade? Nah, not feeling it. Sounds like OD cringe. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to this, like I said plenty of times, man, for real, look, when you play into stereotypes that reduce our humanity, you're not doing us a favor, you know, because we have this phenomenon that they know about. You know that black men are so rarely celebrated. So you go and play into this situation where it's like the dynamic is, well, shit, well, at least I'm saying you're handsome. Shit, it's better than calling you the N-word.
My goodness.
Fuck you.
That is crazy. You just made that whole narrative up of a group of people who may or may not necessarily feel that way. I think my issue...
I don't care. All right, listen, here's the situation. I don't give a shit how you feel.
No,
Me
and that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing
We're
in a
the black
nutshell.
people. All right.
I'm black too.
I don't care. See, here's the situation.
And that's what I'm saying. You don't care. You don't necessarily have to care. I'm a black person
that's actually affected by that. So it's like me saying
I'm with a black person. So my fucking mother was a Black Panther and was really on the front line as a Black Panther and the first in the Resurrection Nation of Islam. So trust and believe you me.
I wanted to say something before we had to go.
Okay, but when you talk about oppression and being on the front line or knowing what it is to be demeaned because of your race, I know all but too well, more so than anybody in this damn room. Believe you me. Believe you me. The only thing I'm saying, there very well may be people that feel exactly how you're saying they feel.
Listen,
and very well may be. What I am going to say is that everybody doesn't necessarily feel that way. I feel like, you know, we take things so personally as we should. We've been scorned, man. We've been hurt. But just because we've been hurt and don't know who to trust all the fucking time does not mean that everybody who looks like they're doing something somebody else did is the same type of person. And I for one, hold on, let me finish. I, for one, am not going to allow my fear of what you're saying about me or what you think about me to determine what you're saying. Yeah, I'm gonna listen.
Listen, when it comes down to this, look, when it comes down to the racial dynamic of certain things, when it comes to the reality of the social and racial injustice that people have, I really, and other people and black people, we need to stop giving a fuck about your feelings when it comes to the reality. When we're talking about when we talk about racism and when we're talking about the reality of what's going on, there is a legislation that is banning the teachment of critical race theory, and it is Juneteenth. We're actually supposed to be celebrating the anniversary of our emancipation right about now. So right about now, we can't do that. We can't do this because of the banning of critical race theory. It's because of this bullshit idea. Well, you feel this way and I feel this way. Get the fuck out of here. This is history. We can't actually talk about history and have an honest conversation about racial justice because somebody else's feelings. There's going to be the right for, hold on. Let me, Pegasus, please. And I'm saying what I'm saying. Let me finish.
I know, but you're saying it in rebuttal to what I said and you're wrong. You can go ahead. I'm working it out.
Look, so what I'm saying is this, though. When it comes down to the reality of what racism is and racial injustice,
yeah, that's something you need to know what racism is.
We can't, hold on a minute. Are you talking?
I am. I'm talking
All
too.
Right, go ahead and we'll just sign off.
I mean, if that's what you want to do.
We gotta go.
Go ahead. Talk.
All right, so finish what you were saying.
I had said it already, but you keep saying the same thing. So I'm just going on what you saying, Omari. I don't understand what the problem is. You don't agree with me. I don't agree with you. We can say that.
Listen, but I'm not speaking in reference to you. You're making my conversation and my statement about you. What makes you think that I'm even thinking about you? I'm trying to address a statement. I'm trying to address a reality. I'm trying to address what I'm thinking. It has nothing to do with you.
I don't think
it's
it
like
did.
This is what white people do. It's like we can't really speak about something without you thinking about saying
all white
what
people.
I think in this. Nobody said anything about all white people.
But that's what I want you to understand. It's not all white people.
You know
that's
what?
all I was saying.
This is the problem. We can't have a conversation, an honest conversation, like about.
So do you see what's happening here? An honest conversation.
Because not all white people. And like,
so is that dishonest?
No, it's not dishonest. It's just
so how is this not an honest conversation?
Because
though?
we know
you
not all white people. The same thing with not all cops.
That's not true. Because some white people think all black people are something.
We can't talk about the systematic oppression of black people and how the criminal justice is complicit in that. If every single time we have to,
we don't say every single time. I just don't want to have to I just don't want to have to undo an unnecessary injustice when we're trying to receive justice for ourselves. I say this all the fucking time. Just because one group of people gets their rights does not mean that it should supersede the rights of another people. And this is not.
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
I know you don't. Of course you don't. What I'm saying is that just because these people have done something and we're talking about it and people are noticing what we've gone through, don't make it about all of them. So when you say that, there are people who are listening to us who believe when you say that it is all of them. So when you don't say, I say it all the time, I'm just getting clarity. That's all I'm doing. I want you to, I want the viewers to understand that it's not all white people. And I'm saying that because I like clarity. We know that there's racist folks out there, and spade is a fucked up ass term, and we shouldn't even be allowing them to use that shit.
Let me get back to what I was saying, though. What I was saying is this, though. Like, when it comes down to an analogy, the queer community, they get to decide whether or not there's something that's appropriate. Just because, like, if I say the F word or something else, just because, well, I don't mean it this way, it's not my place to decide how to appropriate the term. It's not my place to decide whether or not, well, also, what I'm coming for, that's not my place for me to decide that, because that affects that community. They're the ones who are the people who have the right to set the boundary. And they're the ones who get to speak first when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. And it really doesn't necessarily matter that, I don't necessarily mean it that way. No, it really doesn't, because there has to be a boundary when it comes to
you get to set it.
And they get the people who are affected, they're the ones who get to set it.
I'm black, so I get to set the boundary, right?
Look, this is like a situation. If black people want to, listen, if there's some black people who don't have a problem with being your spade or whatever, that's cool.
See, don't let them. I didn't say that. Never
that is going to be a reality, that there's a diverse, nuanced understanding of certain stuff like that. But if you walk into a situation, however you want to put it or flip it, if you walk into a situation thinking, well, all right, well, you shouldn't understand because this black person is cool with being a spade.
I didn't say that
if you want to do that, well, whoever, just so I can put that out there, like, if it's a situation like that, you need to really understand it. You're speaking from a position of privilege right now that's disconnected to the reality right about now. And what's going to happen is you're going to follow consequence, because there are people that are in a marginalized group telling you, you know what, this is not right. Before we go, you have anything?
I just want to say I agree with that portion of the statement you just said 100%. I want to get back to this. With respect to racism, I think there is a feel on it. It is not just the actual act, it's the intent. We can do a lot of things, but what you do on paper for me is what you meant to do. You might hurt my heart. You might hurt my heart and not meant to do that. You might not have meant to do that. So what we gonna call it? I'm gonna say you was telling me the truth because that's what you meant to do. So it's not you hating. If somebody who does not understand my situation happens to run afoul of me with respect to race, you don't understand what you did. If after I explain to you, you continue to go on committing the same act or not pay attention to the boundaries that I set for me and my black, then that would be considered racism. So when I say I don't think the acts in and of themselves are racist, it is the intent behind the acts. So that's why I say what I say when I say about feelings and all of those things, because we're the same people. We don't want to be made to feel a certain kind of way. We don't want to be made to feel a certain kind of way because we're not privy to certain things. It's kind of like there is no ignorance is an excuse for breaking the law. I think that's really, 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 really fucked up because y'all will make the laws in secret just so we can be ignorant. That's just how I feel.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for letting us in the streaming platforms. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube and check out our OnlyFans content and our Patreon content so that you guys can get the exclusives. My name is Omari the Rebel.
And I am Big Pink Pegasus. And hold on. Shout out to A-List Asia. She is a Black-owned nail salon. Did these motherfuckers... girl, she killing it. 23 Dodge Street in Bloomfield, New Jersey. I just wanted to do that considering it's Juneteenth. Again, I'm Big Pink Pegasus, and this has been Tribe Chat.